we are going to talk about growth opportunities for your food business. And I always like to start my workshops with a quote. And today I would like to quote the author of The Little Prince. And I know what you're thinking. You must be thinking, but Natalia, what does The Little Prince have to do with business? And I just want to say, I just want to quote this author because it helps us lay the groundwork for this workshop. And this quote says, "A goal without a plan is just a wish." So my answer to you, if you're thinking, what does this quote have to do with business growth, is that it is not enough that you want your business to grow. In order to achieve scalability successfully, it is important to identify the appropriate timing and strategy. Very important factors in business growth. Actually, in business per se, timing and strategy. Timing and strategy are everything when it comes to business development, business growth. The key to grow is strategic planning. So today we are going to talk about strategic planning, focusing on three main aspects: timing, strategy, and innovation. It is very likely that at this point you have the desire to scale your business, but you still don't have the right strategic plan to make it. So let me just stop for 1 second here. When I talk about scalability, I'm talking about business growth. Okay, I'm just going to use both terms during this workshop, but I will always be talking about the same thing: business growth. So scalability is business growth as well. So I have great news for you guys today. The ultimate purpose of this workshop is to answer the following questions. How do I identify the appropriate timing to work on the growth of my food business? Second question that we are going to answer during this workshop is, how do I analyze the current situation of my business and the food industry? Third question that we're going to answer during this workshop is, how do I design a strategic plan that guarantees the growth of my food business? And the fourth question that we are going to answer during this workshop is, how can I innovate in my food business? So I will share with all of you 3 essential steps you can take in order to answer each one of them successfully. And let's get started. Let's try to answer the first question. How do I identify the appropriate timing to work on the growth of my food business? Step 1 towards answering this question: self-evaluation. And this is the most important one. I am starting the workshop with this one because it is very important that you analyze your current personal situation. Because beyond opportunities, the economy, the market, and its trends, the one who must make the business grow and be successful is you. So of course, we have a lot of forces that may impact directly the growth of your business, but remember that you will always be the key driver. So it is very important that you analyze your situation, because in most cases, growing your business brings the same changes in personal activities you experienced when you started the business. So I want to throw it back a little to when you decided to become an entrepreneur. Remember that you used to invest a lot of your personal time and personal resources in your business, and it can be very challenging and exhausting. So you must be honest with yourself and determine if you feel prepared physically, mentally, and emotionally, because this requires you to get out of your comfort zone again. And I know what you must be thinking, Natalia: when you lead a business, you never get into a comfort zone because there's a lot in your plate. And I get it, I understand. But sometimes as the business evolves and grows, you find a good team, you reach good revenues, so you can delegate a bit more, and you tend to organize and structure better all your workload. So I understand that maybe you're not specifically in a comfort zone, but you may be at a point where everyone knows what to do and when to do it. And sometimes when you want to work on the growth of the business, things start to take a little, and everyone must be prepared, especially you as the leader of your company. So I did my homework before this workshop, and I read a Harvard Business Review that points out the four factors that are directly related to the owner and have a high impact on the growth of the business. So these factors have to do directly with you, the entrepreneur, the leader, the one who is in charge of every aspect of the company or the business. So these factors have to do with you, but they have a direct impact in the business. So you have to pay special attention to all of them. So I want to share them with you. The first one is your goals for yourself and for the business. So sometimes the business owner thinks that there's a line between his personal life or her personal life and the business, and they are not aware of what their personal goals are, and maybe those personal goals are influencing the business or are impacting the business. So it is very important that you consider or you think about what your goals are in terms of business and personal life, because that's going to have an impact in the business growth. The second factor is owners' operational abilities in doing important jobs such as marketing, inventing, producing, and managing distribution. Because as you know, you may have a good team, an awesome team, and that's very important, but you have to stay on top of the pillars of the company. The third factor is the owner's managerial ability and willingness to delegate responsibility and to manage the activities of others. Because sometimes when the business starts to grow, you're going to need a strong team, and you're going to have to delegate better in order for the business to grow. And the last factor is the owner's strategic abilities for looking beyond the present and matching the strengths and weaknesses of the company with his or her goals. So it is very important that you instill a vision, okay? As a leader, you must have a vision. You must pilot this plane, because you have to lead your team. You need to understand where the business is going and how can it reach a good standing in the future. So bear in mind that you are always going to lead, and the growth of the business will always depend on you. So now let's discuss the second step that can help us answer the first question, and it's a financial evaluation. Of course, you have to evaluate yourself first, but we're talking about business growth, so yes, we need to understand the business as well, but you will always be the most important pillar of your business growth. So now let's talk about your business. It's very important that you pay special attention to your financial situation at this moment. So before thinking about growing the business, you should pay special attention to the current income and profits of the company. Now, I know that revenues and profits are not the same, of course. And maybe your company is not yet profitable. It hasn't reached a point where it's been profitable, or maybe it hasn't reached a break-even point, but it should be very close to reaching break-even point at least, or you should be in a profitable scenario at this moment, because of course growing requires investment. So at least we need good revenues at this point. And of course, it is recommended that the company has good profit margins in terms of the product that is marketing at this moment, because you're going to grow with a product portfolio that you have at this moment, or by reaching new customers or new markets or new business models. So it is very important that you understand your financial situation at this moment, because that's going to determine whether if it's the right moment to grow, or if we should still work on the current business model. Okay, so the third step is to evaluate both the operational and the commercial pillars. So the operational pillar of the company is your team. You must evaluate if you already have a strong team that can accept challenges and execute strategically and efficiently. It is very important that you understand that you're going to need a very good team, because they are also they will have to step out of their comfort zone as well. So think about your team members. What are they doing at this moment, their roles, and if you need additional team members, or if you can think about growing the business with the team that you already have built to this moment. So the commercial pillar of the company are your customers, and you should study the current reach of customers at this moment, and talk to them, and get to know them, and listen to what they have to tell you about your business, consumer insights, in order to understand if you are ready to focus on the business growth. But first, you need to understand what's going on at this moment. So in general, customer acquisition is the biggest challenge in the initial stage and in the business growth stages. So it is very important to determine if the work done so far will allow you to reach customers in a cost-effective way. That's very important, because again, growing requires investment. So now let's answer the second question. How do I analyze the current situation of my business and the food industry? This is a very important question. And I know that now I'm going to share a lot of information. I will try to make it simple, short and sweet, as I like things, so you can understand. Because as I said, I am an educator, so I want you guys to learn new things from this workshop. And I know that it's a lot of information to take in just 2 hours. And I just want you to understand everything, so you can little by little implement everything in your business after this workshop, because that's the main idea. So the first step that we have to take in order to answer the second question is to study the external environment. Now, what am I talking about? Well, the external environment consists of all the forces that the entrepreneur and or the company cannot control. So first of all, we need to understand what's going on outside our business, outside our organization, what's going on out there that we cannot control, and it may affect our business directly. For example, politics, atmospheric phenomena, competitors, raw material costs. These are things that impact your business directly, and you cannot control them. You just have to prepare for them. And why do we have to pay special attention to those forces? Because they determine whether if we have an opportunity or if we have a threat. So it is very important to identify opportunities and threats, and we do it by paying special attention to those forces that we cannot control. They are outside our organization or business. So an opportunity means that you have to take advantage of the external landscape to design and implement strategies to be more profitable. And threats are the threats. It means that you have to pay attention to the external landscape because it can put in danger your profitability, integrity, or life of your business. So it is very, very, very important to identify opportunities and threats. So how do you perform an external analysis? By evaluating first competitive forces. I will take a deep dive into competitive forces in the next slide, because this is the most important factor that you need to take under consideration when studying the external atmosphere. The second factor is the strategic groups. What are strategic groups? Those are big companies that play a huge role within the industry because they have a lot of power. They can produce in big scales. They have great profit margins, so they can play with prices. And sometimes when they make decisions, they can affect the entire industry. So you need to identify the strategic groups of the segment of the food industry in which you compete. There are always strategic groups, and you have to pay special attention to them. Remember, big players, big companies that play an important role in the industry because their decisions affect the entire industry, the other players, micro, small, medium players. If they play with prices, the entire industry gets affected. If they play with distribution channels, the entire industry gets affected. Sometimes they have a lot of power when it comes to negotiation. So it is very important to understand that whatever they do will affect your business, even if it's small, okay? So from now on, pay special attention to those strategic groups, okay? Remember, they are part of the external environment. You cannot control them. Those are other companies that have other leaders, other teams, other products. So you cannot control them, but they will make some moves that can impact your company and the entire industry and how it works. So the third factor that you need to consider when performing an external analysis is the segment of the industry stage. What does this mean? That if you are planning to grow, you need to choose a segment that is still embryonic or is growing. Because if you choose a mature segment of the industry, you're not going to be very competitive because there's a lot of competitors there, a lot of war in terms of prices. It is better for you to identify growth opportunities in an embryonic segment of the industry, because there aren't a lot of players, competitors, and there's more chances for you to gain a competitive advantage. There aren't a lot of competitors, so it means that you can reach a sustainable competitive advantage, and that's what we're looking for. So no competitive advantage lasts forever, but we do need to identify a competitive advantage that can last a while, because that's when we actually grow. And other factor that you need to consider when performing an external analysis are the, of course, economic, social, demographic, global, technological, political, and legal forces, because you cannot control them, and they can impact your business directly. So as I mentioned, I want to take a deep dive into the competitive forces. And I don't want to sound too academic here, because I know I am not in a classroom full of students. So I like to keep it more real. But I do want to share Michael Porter's 5 forces model, because I do think that they are very, very relevant when it comes to business growth. So they are part of the external environment because you cannot control them, but they can control your business. So it is very important to take them into account. The first force is the risk of potential competitors entering the market. So if you identify an embryonic market, one that it's just growing, there aren't a lot of competitors, you have to pay special attention to those competitors that may not be selling the same product as you at the moment or providing the same service as you at the moment, but they do have the resources to do it later on. So sometimes they come and they come big. So you need to the market. So you need to understand that if they play a huge role in the market, prices are going to be lower. So it's very important that if you are thinking about launching a new product in an embryonic segment of the industry, you should consider other competitors that aren't just right here yet. So the second force is the rivalry between existing businesses. That's very important. Are they businesses that are competing at this moment and are trying to lower prices just to stay competitive? The third force is the power of negotiation of buyers, because sometimes the buyer has a lot of power when it comes to negotiating. So sometimes they ask for certain prices, certain volumes, and you need to understand that sometimes you just can't afford that because it can be harmful for your business. So you need to understand that sometimes buyers have more power and it can be harmful for your business, and you should try different buyers before getting into the wrong business. So the fourth force is the power of negotiation of suppliers. This is very important when it comes to raw materials. Sometimes you need some raw materials in order to operate, and sometimes those prices can go up or down, or the supplier can just make decisions that can be harmful for your business. So it is very important to understand that if you are trying to grow by launching a new product or just thinking about a new business model and you need suppliers, understand that you should identify different suppliers in order for you to have different options and not depend just on one suppliers, because that can be harmful for your business, because you are going to need that raw material to operate and to sell and to grow. And the fifth force is the substitute products. Sometimes we do have a good product, but something happens in the market that consumers choose a different product for different reasons. Sometimes prices, quality, and you need to understand that maybe you do have an innovative product, a new product, and you can grow with that innovative product, but maybe the market can identify a substitute for that product, and you need to understand that beforehand in order to be prepared for that force. Okay, so the second step that we should take into consideration in order to answer the second question efficiently is to study the internal environment. The internal environment consists of all the factors that entrepreneurs and or the company can modify, add, or discard. So you can modify or you can become stronger in these factors as such as team, operational efficiency, innovation, know-how. You need to pay special attention to these factors because they help you identify your strengths and your weaknesses. You have to identify your strengths in order for you to understand how can you grow efficiently. And you need to understand your weaknesses, because what we are trying to do is to gain competitive advantage. So we need to understand our weaknesses in order to uh, look for how can we be better and transform them into strengths, because we are always going to have competitors. The third step is to study the industry and market trends. So studying commercial and growing trends in the food industry can help you determine an optimal way to grow that will ensure long-term success. That's what we are looking for. Long-term success. When we want to grow, we need to seek for long-term success. They can help you determine what you should focus on today in order to grow in the future. Growing a business takes time and requires investment. Looking into the future of business trends for your industry can help you determine if you will be able to sustain long-term success. So I also did my homework before this workshop, and I found this excellent um, publication article from the Barilla Center for Food and Nutrition and they published an article that features 13 evolving trends in the food industry. So I would like to share them with you. The first trend, and I am talking about trends for the 2030. Okay, this is very important because these are growing trends, evolving trends. So they will be evolving from now to the 2030. So that's very important because you need to focus on long term in order to grow. So 10 years from now, taste and pleasure will be a major trend, actually the first trend. So it is very important to pay attention to taste and texture, because we are looking into a market that is going to require a culinary experience. It's going to ask for a culinary experience in terms of taste and texture. Um, Customers will pay special attention to health. Remember, I am talking about the next 10 years. So health will be a hot topic in 10 years. And it is very important because at the end of the day, you are feeding human beings and they need to be healthy, and they have a lot of information in their hands because we are in the digital era. So they have access to information and they want healthy ingredients. They want a healthy lifestyle, and a healthy lifestyles starts by a healthy diet. So that's what they really want. Consumers are paying a lot of attention to health. Orientation to the past. This is a very interesting trend because consumers are paying attention to traditions, what the ancestors used to eat in order to guarantee longevity. They are looking again for healthy options. So they want to keep traditions, and they are paying attention to their past. They have an orientation to the future. That means progress. They want to evolve. They want a better life. So they want a lot of progress. And when it comes to the food industry, we are talking about good practices, okay, and innovation, of course, technology and innovation. The naturalness and simplicity of ingredients and fresh foods, it's very important. It's a major trend. Globalization of flavors, that means exchange between dietary culture. That's very interesting because when it comes to dieting, humans like to try different diets from around the world. So like, for example, the Mediterranean diet, that it's so famous these days. So they are willing to try different diets and try to mix international ingredients. So a lot of fusion going on in terms of the food industry. Another major trend, an evolving trend, is the local and regional food. So this is very important for you because customers are willing to support local food businesses. So that's a very good news. They are looking for luxury, but not necessarily expensive food. When they say luxury, they are talking about higher quality. So again, we are looking, we are talking about health here. That's the major trend in the food industry. So they want better quality, but not necessarily are willing to pay a lot more. So that's very important. They want good food. They want also speed, which is a major trend, but they want accessibility, availability. They not necessarily are willing to pay a lot of money, but they do want high quality and they do want speed. So they don't want food that is not good for their health. They want food that is good for their health, but accessible as well. And we are talking about individualization in terms of self-care, self-respect, and self-love, and of course sustainability. That's a major trend. So it is very important to take into consideration good practices. Okay, sustainability is very important. This comes in terms of manufacturing, of packaging. So pay special attention to the sustainability of your business. And now we are going to answer the third question. How do I design a strategic plan that guarantees the growth of my food business? So this is a very important question, and I want to quote Sun Tzu. He is traditionally credited as the author of The Art of War. So he is a military strategist. I mean, he was, I'm sorry, it's not. He was a military strategist. And of course, we are talking about military strategies, but they can also be applied into business. So I would like to use this quote in order to lay the groundwork for the question that we are trying to answer at this point of the workshop. So if you send reinforcement everywhere you will be weak. So you need to focus, you need to understand where can you be a strong competitor. So it's about where to play and how to win. You don't have to play everywhere and compete with everyone. You just need to focus and understand that the only way of gaining competitive advantage is by focusing. Okay, so I want to share the first step, and it's focusing on three main strategies: the functional strategy, the business strategy, and the corporate strategy. So you can focus on these major strategies in order to grow your business. So the first strategy is the functional strategy, and its objective is to improve operation to gain more efficiency, quality, innovation, and customer response. So sometimes you are not growing because you are not paying attention to your functional strategy. As a matter of fact, chances are that you don't have a functional strategy. So I want you to pay special attention to your functional strategy because that can lead you towards the growth of your business. You need to improve your operational efficiency if you really want to grow. The second strategy is the business strategy. So it has to do with the mission of your business. You need to have a clear mission, and it has to do with your customers. What do they want, and how can you give it to them in an innovative and efficient way? So think about this. I am not sure if you have a clear business strategy at this moment. Do you know who your customers really are, what they really want, and how can you exceed their expectations? Because that's very important. And those are questions that you need to answer in order to grow your business. The third strategy is the corporate strategy. In which sector of the food industry will the business compete, and with what advantage? Again, where to play and how to win. It's about focusing. It's not only about playing everywhere and competing with everyone. It's about knowing the segment of the industry in which you can gain a real and sustainable competitive advantage. The second step is to identify the best way to scale your business. So there are three main ways to scale a business. These are new products or services by launching them, acquiring new customers or reaching new markets, or identifying new business models. So we are going to take a deep dive into each one of these factors. First factor, new products or services. The key is to take advantage of what you have built so far. Yes, take advantage of the strategic relationship you have with your current clients in order to study their preferences and needs. Just make a quick phone call, have a video conference with them. Take the time to listen to them. You already have that relationship built. Take advantage. They can give you good ideas, good insights. Consumer insights are very important. We need to keep track of what they want, what their needs are, because they change constantly and fast. So take advantage of that. Talk to your current customers, listen to them, understand if you are exceeding their expectations. Take advantage of current resources such as raw materials, equipment, land, and experience in order to expand your product portfolio and reach more customers. So you already have a lot of resources and you have to take advantage of them. That's very important to reach a business growth. Take advantage of the distribution channels you already have in order to sell more products. That's very important. You already have those channels and they cost a lot of effort back in the days, and you need to use them in order to launch more products. So you can definitely consider launching new products and using the same channels, distribution channels that you already have in order to grow your business. Take advantage of your brand positioning in order to launch other products under a brand that consumers already recognize. This is a very good strategy. If they already recognize the brand, if they trust the brand, if you have brand equity, you have to take advantage of that, because that's a very good strategy in terms of business growth. Take advantage of your fresh products in order to transform them into value-added products that respond to new trends, to new market trends. You already have the fresh product, and you are already selling the fresh product, but maybe you can reach a bigger market if you use that same fresh product to produce value-added products and introduce them to your customers. So introducing new product is the most traditional and cost effective way to scale in the food industry. So I am going to quote an article that I read recently and was published in the Journal of Food Distribution Research. And it says traditionally, growth has been achieved in the food industry through a higher rate of new product introductions and promotion methods to develop strong brands. So we have two pillars here, very important ones: introduction of new products and promotion methods to develop strong brands. That's very important. You need to focus on that. You need to develop a strong brand because that's going to help you. That's going to give you brand equity, and that's going to help you introduce more product under that brand. So I want to share this example with all of you. This is a PepsiCo example, and remember that when I share examples of multinational, it's just because I am using a benchmark strategy. A benchmark is we study what has been a successful strategy for other companies, and maybe we can adapt those same strategy no matter the size of our business. So I want to share with you this example of PepsiCo, and it's very important to study this example because it shows how you can take advantage of your current resources, such as raw materials. PepsiCo owns the Quaker brand, and they have their Quaker oats. So they used the same Quaker oats to create a whole new brand named Maker, and they just launched the Maker brand to reach a different market. The Quaker brand is standing for a mass consumption market, and the Maker brand is for a niche market, a market that wasn't being satisfied by other companies. And PepsiCo identified a good opportunity in that niche market, and they took advantage of that opportunity, launching the Maker brand using the same Quaker oats to create new products focused on a very good value proposition. USDA organic, non-GMO. They have clean ingredients. They have a fresh packaging, minimalistic packaging, so they can reach a different market. It's a niche market, a market that wants healthier products or artisan products. So this works very well, and they are using their same raw material, but they are transforming that raw material into a different product that has a lot of value for a different market. So this is a very good strategy, and you can implement it as well using your same raw materials to create innovative products. So I am quoting again this article published in the Journal of Food Distribution Research. Food manufacturers with name brand items familiar to customers are more likely to be able to successfully introduce new food products. Once a food manufacturer has established a positive reputation with its new food products, it may be able to introduce other new items with more ease. So a micro or small business should always focus on getting its brands recognized and associated with quality, because that's going to help launch more products, and the consumers are going to recognize that brand. And even though the product may be new for them, the brand is not new for them. They are familiar with that brand. They trust that brand. So again, I am going to use a PepsiCo example with the Quaker brand. They have Quaker oats. old-fashioned oats, all kinds of oats, but they also create added value products, and they launch them under the same brand. So they take advantage of their brand positioning, and they launch other products under that same brand that consumers already recognize. So that new product sells faster because, again, even though the product is new, the brand is already recognized, and the buying process is faster for the consumer. So it is not about starting with a lot of products. Don't get me wrong. It's not about launching products. Do not get me wrong, please. Yes, it's about uh, launching products, but it's more about starting with right products that can strategically position the brand, and then launch more products under the same name brand. Okay, so once a positive reputation has been established, other products may be introduced more easily. But remember, it's not quantity, it's quality, because you want that brand to be recognized for the right things. Okay, quality and good ingredients and texture and flavors and healthy factors. So just take a moment to understand, to think about what new products you can introduce, so you can create or develop brand equity and brand recognition, because that's going to help you. Food consumers want and will support a variety of similar food products. Again, I am quoting this article from the Journal of Food Distribution Research. So this is very good news. Food consumers want and will support a variety of similar food products. So that's what they want, because again, their needs change very fast. So this is a very good example of how to take advantage of your fresh products in order to transform them into value added products that respond to new trends. And this is the example of Ocean Spray, which is a cranberry brand. They sell cranberries as a whole product. It's a product that maybe it's sold in its original form, but they also create and transform those cranberries into value added products that respond to market trends, as such as healthy snacking and healthy desserts. And of course, this is healthy if the consumer considers if it's healthy, right? This is not advertising. I am not advertising the brand or nor the company. I'm just bringing some good strategic examples for business growth. It has nothing to do with the company or the brand or the products or its value. So I'm just pointing out what they do strategically in order to grow, so you can benchmark. So this example of Ocean Spray is very good in order to understand how you can take advantage of your fresh products, because you already have the main raw material, and you can create innovative products that respond to new customer needs. So food manufacturers find it relatively easy to supply a variety of similar products because development costs are often low. For this strategy to be cost effective, current resources must be maximized. So yes, it is about maximizing current resources such as raw materials. This is another example of how you can maximize current resources and launch products in a cost-effective way. In the food industry, a small variation of the original product is a good strategy. For example, packaging, size, new flavor, new ingredient, the organic or the vegan version of the original one. So this is very cost effective because, for example, Joe Plate has yogurt in a regular packaging or size, but they also launch a different packaging, which is more on the go. So they responded to a huge market trend, which is that consumers want healthy snacking. um, so what they did is that they just changed the packaging and the size, and they turned the traditional packaging of a yogurt into a to-go yogurt. So this is very convenient for moms that need to prepare lunch boxes. This is very convenient for professionals that are always on the go, that have busy agendas, and this can be carried in your bag, in your pocket very easily. So this was a huge strategy for Joe Plate. They gained a lot of market share just by changing the packaging and the size of the traditional yogurt. So this was super cost effective. They didn't have to invest a lot because the machinery was there, the raw materials were there. They didn't have to go through a lot of research and development. So it was super cost effective. They launched the product super fast. So it was a very good strategy. And this is something that maybe you can do. You can think about how you can make your packaging more convenient for your consumers, and they will value a more convenient packaging. So these strategies are also effective for fresh products as long as they respond to market trends and consumer preferences. So you can also think about different ways of meeting new customer needs with fresh products. And you can launch new fresh products into the market if you have the land and if you have what it takes to plant and harvest other different fresh products. So this is a strategy that can also work with fresh products. Now let's talk about how you can grow by acquiring new customers. This is another way of growing a business, acquiring new customers. So we already talked about launching new products as a growth opportunity, but now we can talk about acquiring new customers as a growth opportunity. If you have a high quality product, you can use it as your main strategy to acquire new customers. So this is an example. Again, this is not advertising for any brand. It is not intended to sell these brands or companies. I'm just talking about good growth strategies. So this is a different example. This is a very good example of how you can use the product that you already have and that you already sell and you already plant and harvest and sell it with a different strategy to a different customer. Maybe you can create their own label. You already have the product, you already sell the product, you already plant and harvest the product. So you can use that product in order to create private labels for other customers. And this is a very good strategy. Here's the example of Gustos. They are a coffee company, and they are using their coffee to create a private label for a customer. In this case, it's Walgreens, and they have their private label, which is nice. So this is a very strategic alliance, and this is a very good partnership that you can also try. You can go and partner with other customers and create their own brand. So this is a very good example of how you can grow by acquiring new customers with the same product that you already have or sell. So another example is that maybe you have a product that you are selling uh, in terms of retail, but you can identify a wholesale strategy. Like, for example, if you are selling fresh fish directly to end users, maybe you can use that same fresh fish to sell it to hotels and restaurants. If it's good, and I bet it is, if it's high quality, I know that small restaurants and small hotels, especially local ones, will be thrilled to buy a fresh product from a local entrepreneur or a local business. So if you are selling a fresh product in a retail market, maybe that product is feasible for another market, a business to business market, or a bigger market such as restaurants and hotels. So that's another example. And now we are going to talk about new market as a growth opportunity. We already talked about new products, new clients, and now we're going to talk about new markets. So um, of course, exporting is a growth opportunity, but it is very important to evaluate your offer because maybe you have several products at this moment. Maybe you're selling several products. You have a nice product portfolio, but maybe um, you cannot export all of those products. So you have to evaluate what you have and what may be attractive for a different market. So it's not about exporting everything, it's about exporting the right product, even if it's one. So you have to be very careful with this, be very strategic, evaluate your current product portfolio, or evaluate different markets that are uh, close in terms of logistics and distribution, and understand if there's a need in that market that maybe you can satisfy by creating a new product. So not necessarily you have uh, a strategic product at this moment, but maybe you can create it. If you study different markets, you can maybe you can create a new product, maximizing current resources in order to reach that market, because you don't want to sell a product that already exists in that market. You want a different product, a product that the market considers attractive, new, and innovative. So you need to understand that not everything can be exported, but exporting is a very good strategy if you want to grow your business. So it's very important to understand what you can offer to a new market. You need to understand where you can go in terms of logistics. So this represents a lot of additional costs, so that affects directly profit margins. So you have to understand that you need a good logistic strategy in order to export in a very good, cost effective way. You need to focus on real opportunities in order to export effectively, because sometimes you think that you can export and not necessarily you can do it. So focus on real opportunities. You can talk to strategic allies in those markets. You can study the market. You can visit the market. You can just run a good marketing research analysis in order to focus on real opportunities. Think about the budget. If you have um, money at this moment to invest in that, in exporting the product, because it requires investment, and establish trade missions. You can as I said, you can visit the market, or you can study the market by talking to potential customers in that market, understanding their needs, what they want, what they're looking for. So you can think about good products for that market. So you have to identify a product that can be attractive in multiple markets and standardize its formula, packaging, and production. So it's about standardizing. You cannot think about exporting different products and just uh, playing with different packaging, because that's just not cost effective. Identify a product that can be attractive in multiple markets, and standardize everything: production, packaging, every logistics, everything, because otherwise it won't be cost effective. It is not cost effective to manufacture a lot of different products with different packagings that go to different markets. The most cost effective way is to identify those products that can be sold the same way in multiple markets. So this is a very good example of a product that can be marketed in different countries. Most of Spanish speaking markets, like tostones, which are fried plantain chips. It is a very attractive product in most Latin American countries. So this company standardized everything, including the packaging. Tostones is the name that a lot of countries use for this product, like Puerto Rico. But other countries, such as Colombia, refer as this product as patacones. So this company identified how to standardize the packaging, and they wrote tostones and patacones in the package so they can export the same product to different markets, especially Spanish-speaking market. So this is a product that is very attractive in most Latin American countries, and this company found the way to standardize everything in order to reach bigger markets. So this is a very good example. And now we are going to talk about business models, new business models. Now, we've talked about new products, we've talked about new customers, we've talked about new markets, and now we are going to talk about new business models as good growth opportunities for your food industry, for your food business. What is a business model? A business model is what determines how the business generates income, and the main objective of a business model is to guarantee profitability. So I brought an example of a business model. Of course, I know this is a workshop for the food industry. I know Uber does not compete in the food industry. It is a technology company, but I just want to point out their business model, just to make it clear, and just explain in a better way what a business model is. So Uber is the major example of business model innovation, because Uber didn't invent private transportation. Uber didn't invent cars. Doesn't have its own cars. So Uber just innovated in a new business model, where they deliver a good service of a good transportation service focused on high customer service standards, technology, safety. So what they did is that they created a new business model in order to make accessible private transportation. But that's all they did. They just created an innovative business model. So this is a very good example that helps me explain what a business model is all about. So it's about identifying opportunities of how to um, uh, make more revenues by disrupting the industry. So that's what Uber did. They disrupted the industry by creating this new business model. So um, these questions will help you identify a new business model that will result in the growth of your food business. So if you want to identify an effective business model, you should start by answering this question. So remember, it's all about understanding how to receive different or how to identify different revenue streams. That's what we're looking for here. Different revenue streams, additional revenue streams, or um, larger revenue streams. So in order to identify an effective business model that can result in the growth of your business, you should answer: who is going to pay for this product or service? What is he or she paying for in terms of value? How does the customer pay? When does the customer pay? And how does the business receive profits? So there are several drivers when it comes to identifying innovative and effective business models, but the main driver for a business seeking for growth opportunities should be to identify a business model focused on increasing income. Okay, to be considered a business model focused on increasing income, the answers to the question that I just shared must be different regarding the current business model, because the objective of identifying a new business model as a growth strategy is to have additional income, not necessarily substitute current income. I mean, you can substitute current income, but in the event that current income is to be replaced, it must be for a model that generates a higher income. Otherwise, it is not considered a growth opportunity. Growth opportunities based on new business models are mainly focused on internal optimization. In simpler words, make additional use of the existing resources. So I brought some examples. They are very simple, I know, but they are very good examples that help me explain what a new business model is all about. So, example number one, if you have a restaurant at this moment, if you're operating a restaurant, maybe you can add a catering service because it's a different market, a different revenue stream, and it's a plus. So pay special attention to the plus. Okay, I use the symbol, the add symbol, because we are trying to add um, income to the current business model. So it's an additional income what we're seeking for here. If you have an establishment, for example, if you sell food and you create your own sauces, as an example, you create your own sauces, and those sauces are uh, very attractive for your customers, and they love those sauces, and they actually go to that um, restaurant or establishment because they love the sauces. Maybe you can consider um, uh, the manufacture of those sauces and sell it to supermarkets or other intermediaries. So maybe you can enter the retail market with that product, and that gives you a whole different business model. Another example, a very good one, is if you have a land, or you operate a farm, and you use it to plant, harvest, and market fresh product, and it's beautiful, and it's in a very exclusive or beautiful a place. Maybe you can add tours, maybe you can open the doors to visitors, and let them enjoy the beauty of your land, of your farm, and you can make additional income. That's a whole new business model. Another a good example is if you already have your factory, or if you are manufacturing your own products and you don't have enough demand at this moment, and you are not producing at your best, maybe you can partner with other strategic allies that need the equipment and the factory to manufacture their products, and this is called a co-packing strategy. So maybe you can use your equipment, your factory, to manufacture other products even though they're not yours, and that's a whole different business model, and it can give you another revenue stream. And another example, if you are currently in the business to consumer market, maybe you can try the business to business market. For example, this is a very simple example again. If you are selling fresh fish at this moment, maybe you can sell frozen fish to supermarkets or other intermediaries or customers, and that gives you a whole different business model. So the third step is to evaluate cost effectiveness in order to determine if it is an opportunity. Not everything is a business growth opportunity. So you must calculate the investment, calculate the return on investment, and calculate the profitability of the product, customer, market, or business model. It has to be profitable. Otherwise, it won't be a growth opportunity. Okay, so it's very important. Even though it may not be profitable at the moment, it has to represent a revenue stream, and it has to uh, guarantee a return on investment moving forward. That's very important. If not, it is not considered a good business growth opportunity or strategy. So the determinants of business growth opportunities are the size of the opportunity, the required investment, resources and access, level of difficulty, and timing. So if you want to understand if this is really a growth opportunity, you need to consider these factors: the size of the opportunity, the investment, if you have access to resources, if it's difficult for you to implement that, and how long is it going to take to implement the strategy and to have a return on investment. So now let's answer our last question of the workshop. How can I innovate in my food business? First of all, innovation is not only about developing technology. Innovating is about satisfying the usual needs in a new way. So, step one, think about ways to generate more value. This is very important. It's about adding value to your customers, to your end users. At the end of the day, again, you are working for human beings. You are feeding humans, and you need to generate value to those humans. Okay? You need to give them um, healthy alternatives. You need to think about their lives. You need to think about their health. That's very important. You need to think about their convenience. It's alive. It's a human being we're talking about here. So I brought this equation. It's very simple. It's not actually mine. It's from MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. So I have to give them all the credit. It's not mine. They say that innovation equals invention, but it has to be something that can be commercialized. So it has to be something that the consumer wants. They have to be willing to pay for that invention. Yes, you have to invent, otherwise you are not innovating. You have to invent, but it must be something unique that generates value, because it has to be a commercial invention. You have to generate value, and ideas alone do not generate value. So it's very important to understand that you are working with products that are intended for consumers. So they are the ones that determine if they want to pay for it or not, and how much they are willing to pay for it. So think about the invention, but think about the commercial part of the invention. Who wants these products? Who wants to pay for this product? How much are they willing to pay? And the second step is to select the type and category of the innovation. Again, this is a matrix created by MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. It's not mine. And it's a matrix because you have to pair a type of innovation with a category in order for you to be innovating. Because sometimes entrepreneurs think that they are innovating, and it turns out that they are not innovating. They are just doing the same thing that the rest of the competitors are doing. So we have to make sure that we are really innovating, and that we are really inventing good things, valuable things. So it's a matrix. You can pair a type with a category. There are two main categories when it comes to innovation, and these are disruptive and incremental. When you are being disruptive is when you are creating something new, completely 100% new. It's disruptive. No one has seen something like this is completely new. So to the eyes of the consumer, it's something very different, something that is going to change their lifestyles, and they need to trust this new invention that they need to make sure that it's good for them, and they need some time to understand if it's valuable and convenient for them. So when you're being disruptive, you need to understand that it may take time for the consumer to perceive that value and to be um, open to try it. So when you are being incremental, that means that you are doing something, something you are doing something additional to what it already exists, in terms of perfecting the product or adding more value to that same product. Maybe the product or the service already exists, but you are making it better. That's why you're being incremental. So you can choose a type. If you want to just add technology to your processes, like for example manufacturing processes or commercial processes, you can innovate by introducing new products. It can be disruptive or incremental. You can innovate by trying new processes in your business. You can be disruptive or incremental in these processes, and you can try new business models, be completely disruptive like Uber, or make existing business models better. So the third step is to implement the innovation. And how can we implement an innovation? Well, by introducing a new product or service, by improving an existing one, by opening a new market, by using new and innovative raw materials in manufacturing, and by developing new production methods. So there is no exact formula for business growth. However, if you focus on adding value, increasing convenience, and improving your customers' lifestyles, you will be very close. And as a friendly reminder, you will always be the main driver of your business growth.